Direct game, not my favorite topic. There's this famous old video called Direct Game, or the fundamentals of direct game, or something like that. And I wanted to make a video kind of in response to that, the fundamentals of direct game in 2025. Now, direct game in this context of like men meeting women is you going up with a very honest, very direct approach. Like, I'm directly interested in you and I directly want to make something happen with you, with dating, with romance, leading to intimacy. That's what direct game is. And there was this kind of old movement where people thought it's good to be brutally honest or brutally obnoxious, brutally upfront, authentic man kind of game. And there's a little bit of truth in that. It's good that you can express yourself honestly. If you honestly feel something, honestly want to do something, that's fine. For example, if you authentically want to say, I'm attracted to you and I'm physically attracted to you and I really want to take you home, that's being direct. And there is some value in that. It's good that you can say that if you need to say that, but the problem is that kind of directness, it is infinitely better than being indirect and being basically a big pussy and not being able to express yourself properly. But the better go-between is diplomacy, right? So it's good to have your intentions and to know your intentions and to want to act on your intentions, but also to be diplomatic and have an awareness of how you're affecting the people around you. So even if you want to be direct in the context of dating and pickup and attraction and meeting people, you have to have an awareness that it's very unusual for the recipient to hear a direct approach. If you were to simply say something to the effect of, I know people don't normally say this, but I'm so attracted to you and I want to take you home immediately, or I'm thinking of doing everything with you. If you just empathize before you're direct, that's infinitely better than being blunt and obnoxious. It's just almost impossible for the recipient to comprehend. Now, in the rare cases, like 1 in 100, you might meet a girl or a woman who has had no guy do any kind of approach or any kind of exciting approach to her for like a year. And here you come up and you say, oh my God, I saw you in the crowd. I'm so attracted to you. I want to buy you a drink and take you home. That would be direct. And because she hasn't heard anything for a long time, 1 in 100, it might work. But you know what? 99 times out of 100, it's not going to work and it's just going to sound kind of silly. The problem is when you are direct, day game, night game, dating app, social circle, you can see a visual reaction. And that kind of visual reaction almost encourages you to do it more because you've done something, you can see it kind of working, you can see laughter and reaction. So it feels like positive reinforcement, but really, in the same way, if you were at a party and a homosexual gentleman walked up to you as a straight guy and said, I'm attracted to you, I don't care what you think, I want to go home with you, your reaction would be like, whoa, okay, wow. All right, I guess that's what you want to do. We can be friends, buddy, but you know, I'm just not that interested. The problem is you will react and you get these big reactions, which almost makes it encourage direct behavior, which is bad. The reason why being direct is so bad is because no truly high value person would truly go up and simply ask somebody for a lot quickly. Imagine if somebody walks up to you on the street and they just walk up to you and say, hey, you look well dressed. I want you to work for my company. You'd be like, why the fuck are you asking me so easily? Do you have no standards? Don't you realize that I could be really bad as a person? If you act direct, you seem low value. You can have high levels of curiosity and you can acknowledge that it's a very attractive person and you're very, very interested, very, very curious, but you can't be 100% bought in before you ever met the person because it's just gonna come across as silly. I'm imagining some of the day game guys who used to speak about going direct, they might be out on the streets of London or Paris or New York or something like that, and they're meeting people who are relatively like fresh off the boat from Eastern Europe or South America, and they're just walking around the streets and they don't have much going on in their lives. And these may not be the kind of people who would be the best match for you anyway, because they may not speak the same language or they may just be tourists. And sure, sometimes it would work with people who are new from out of town, but that's not a sustainable dating model. That's not intelligent or wise, nor should it be encouraged. You might go out and do a whole lot of direct approaches with people who are new in the town, but it's not going to get you anywhere in life. It's not going to give you a great partnership or companionship, etc., etc. The other trap with going direct is that it's so mentally low energy that it's really easy for you to do. So you could easily go direct on dating apps or day game and say, hey, you're adorable, I want to meet you. You can just do that 100 times and then maybe you'll get lucky. It's super low mental energy. There are some cases in, night game situations where you being pretty upfront with your intentions can help you to find somebody who's like-minded really quickly. But, it's also going to be at the risk of alienating a lot of people, which obviously you don't want to do. It's going to make you pretty unpopular and you're going to feel a strong sense of rejection. So generally, no, direct is bad. Instead, here are the big adjustments that you want to make. If you see somebody who you think you're interested in, you want to be highly curious. You walk up to somebody highly curious. Imagine you're shopping, you see a product on the shelf or a car that you want to buy or a watch that you want to get. You're highly curious. You would be an idiot to walk up and you see the watch, you say, I'm going to pay whatever price you're going to make me pay to get that watch without asking any questions. That's just dumb. So think to yourself, curiosity. Now let's take it into the contexts where you're going to meet people. Those contexts are day game, night game, social circle, and dating apps. So if you're doing day game, bad example is to walk up to everybody and say, you're adorable, I have to meet you. An even worse example is, I'm just out meeting people today. Like, are you homeless? Do you have no job? Do you have no standards? Do you not value your time? All of the above are true, which render you to be a very low value person. So what's better in day game, instead of going direct, if you see somebody, you can say, sorry, forgive me, I was really curious to say hello to you. My name is Alex, I live around here, I'm sure I'm interrupting. Do you live here? What do you work with? Could I be so bold as to ask your phone number and text you with an idea later? I'm curious to get to know you a little bit better. And the recipient might know that you're romantically interested, and that's okay. Some guys will say to me, the girl knows what's up. The girl knows that you want to fuck. That's okay, but it's more like you're curious to establish a relationship that can include intimacy. That's the correct way to say these things and the correct way to be interpreted by the person that you're talking to. So she's going to be thinking, shit, this guy's approached me, he's curious about me. That might include intentions of intimacy. Maybe he wants to sleep with me, but as a woman, I'm okay with that. If I'm single and he's a good guy and we can establish some kind of a connection, that is healthy, that is fine and normal. So day game, don't run around going direct. Here's one tip that you can just write down and use immediately. We have this concept called inverted direct. So you can walk up to anybody and say, shit, I'm sorry, I didn't want to miss the opportunity to say hello to you right now, which is infinitely better than you saying, I have to meet you. Then it's going to come across as much more normal to the person who's hearing it, the girl who you're saying this to. Then the conversation can start to move forward. That's day game. Now, in the context of night game, in night game, we teach this on the 2-week natural, the live courses that I do all over the world. We got Thailand, New York, Mexico, Croatia, we got Sweden, we got Vienna, we got Budapest, a lot of these places. In the dry floor phase, if you go around and direct to people like, hi, I want to meet you, it's the same thing. If you're in a party and someone just rolls up to you like, hi, I need to meet you, it's a bit of a novelty for a minute. What's much better is if you walk up, you're like, hey, what's up? What are you up to? My name's Alex, my name's Royce. What's going on with you guys? So if you don't leap in, it's kind of like you're worried about opening up to strangers because you have high value and you don't want your time to be wasted, as opposed to you acting obnoxious and ballsy, which is a very mid-level behavior. You're acting more cagey and tentative and patient, which is a very high level, subtle behavior, but only a few guys can pull that off because it requires self-confidence and patience and self-trust and no visual feedback for it to actually work. Not many guys can actually handle that. If you can do it that way in night game, it's infinitely better than just running around saying, I need to meet you, I need to meet you. However, here's the caveat. If towards the end of the night game, when you get to that wet floor point, when people are spilling drinks and it's much more high energy and everyone's kind of like running around a little bit overwhelmed by guys approaching them, then you can go up and open more direct with your intent. And your intent during a night game, a nightclub, a bar, a party, is to start moving things forward immediately. So you can open the conversation with, hey, what's going on? Do you guys want to get shots? Let's go drinking. Hey, you guys are amazing. Let's go dancing. So you can be very upfront with your call to action, with your intent to move things forward, to connect and start to establish some kind of relationship so that you can then lead to trust and intimacy and maybe leaving together. But that needs to be done with a call to action. At the same time, you will polarize, you will reveal that people are unavailable because they have boyfriends, they're with other friends, they're not interested in you. So you might do 5 or 6 approaches asking people, let's go drinking, let's go dancing, and you might miss 5. And the 6th one is, okay, sure. Maybe me and my friend, you and your friend, you go to the bar, you start to get along, you start to dance together, and then it can lead to something really fun. So that's when you can go kind of direct. Even if you're doing what we call like the gutter game, if you're, at the end of the club, nothing's happening, you haven't met anybody, and you're out meeting people at the 7-Eleven or the taxi rank, then you can just keep saying, after party, what's your name? Come with me, let me introduce myself. Then you can do it again and again and again. People used to call that beast mode. That's okay, but realize that it's very much like a game of luck rather than a game of skill. The night game of skill, opposite to direct, is done towards the beginning of a night game session where you should be able to meet people, evaluate, are they single, are they a good match for you, is it wise to spend your time with them, and then you can find a good connection to have a successful pickup and create relationships and intimacy, which is what you're watching this video for. Lastly, dating apps. With dating apps, if you want to meet people who have options, who are universally considered to be attractive, then you need to do outbound. You need to send a message where you say, hey, I saw you on the app, I think you're cool, I have a proposition. So you want to start with that from the opening message. Send a rose or a first impression or whatever the hell it is in Bumble, like a buzz or a bee or something, I don't know. And you can then say, hey, I think you're awesome. I think you're really interesting. I'm here for 2 days. I'd love to take you out. I'd love for it to be a great experience. I've got something really interesting or fancy or exciting or thrilling or luxurious, something that involves a sense of adventure in mind. And that's what dating apps can be sometimes. Sometimes, rarely, can they be used for a hookup. Rarely. Occasionally. Very occasionally, sometimes in big cities, you're going to get a situation where you go on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, or any of the derivatives of dating apps, and the users will set their user profile to short-term fun. So you can set that you're looking for people who are only looking for short-term fun, but beware, if you do that, you're going to come across people who are like prostitutes, people who are using dating apps for trying to, solicit clients. But you can do that, right? Be prepared that you're going to get a lot of people declining you because they're looking for dates rather than hookups. But you can say, hey, you're beautiful, you're incredible. I don't normally say this, and I know this might be partially inappropriate to suggest, but I'm here for 2 days. I've got something luxurious, exciting, interesting, fancy, secretive, thrilling in mind, and I wouldn't send you this rose unless I thought it was a really great idea. By all means, send that out, but understand the nature of the beast. If you go that direct, you really set yourself up for more of a abrupt decline or rejection. Alternative to that, if you're going to do things more normally, you match somebody on a dating app, you have a bit of a chat, you acknowledge, you tell your story, you ask about them, you set up a meetup, and then it's kind of more of a working things out reasonably over the course of a week rather than a yes/no answer. If you're looking for yes/no answers with direct, that's very acceptance or rejection thinking. If you do that, then you're going to get a whole lot of rejections and you're going to be pretty sad pretty quickly. If you are more open-minded and feeling things out, you're going to get a lot less rejections, get a lot deeper in a lot of conversations and potential relationships. And yes, maybe all of those relationships don't work out at that time, but they could work out later. Maybe you go on a date with a woman, it doesn't work out then. A month later, she comes back to you. Maybe they go traveling. 2 months later, they come back to you. But if you do this alienating direct type of behavior, you're going to be the guy who they rejected and they stick to the rejection. So hopefully this has explained direct game in 2025. It's obnoxious, it's blunt, it doesn't help you, it's a bad habit, it's low consciousness, it's mid-game, it sends the wrong signals, it gives false feedback. Diplomacy, curiosity, that's the better way to do it. Hit like, make sure you subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.